You good? Okay. The man, the myth, the legend, John DeMichele of Metabolic, of the Metaverse. I've been so excited to talk to you for so long because as I've thought through this idea of being built different and people that I wanted to talk to, you have such an incredible journey and story. And I really want to just get into it with you. So, John, thanks for being on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's great to talk with you. So let's start from the very beginning. Where were you born?
I was born in Brookline, Massachusetts, and lived there till I think I was about 4. And then we ended up moving to Lee, Mass. And Mom and Dad split up, and then we ended up moving to Colonie.
Do you remember much from growing up in Massachusetts?
Not really. I mean,
Okay.
a little bit, not much. I was pretty young.
Yeah. What led your family to come to Colonie?
My mom got a job at the VA as a nurse.
Okay.
So, and there was four kids and just her. So she had her hands full.
Where were you in the pecking order with
I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest?
Yeah.
Okay. And so your mom was a nurse.
Yeah.
And what was your dad growing
My
up?
dad was a postal clerk.
Okay.
Worked in the post office.
Okay.
And but like I said, they split up when I think I was 2 or 3.
What was that like for you dealing with that as a young kid?
Probably, I think I was so young that it really didn't affect me as much. And he would, obviously Dad would come around every month or so and take us out to the movies or something, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a pretty split, okay? So I didn't see him that often.
Yeah. And you said you were the youngest of 4.
Right.
So what was your relationship like with your siblings growing up?
Oh, it was great. They were a little bit older. My brother Ralph was just a year older than me, so that him and I we used to pal around all the time.
Yeah.
Paul was a little older. Joan, my sister, Joan is the oldest. She still lives in Colonie. Paul's passed away. Ralph lives in North Carolina.
Okay.
And I'm here.
And you're here.
Yeah.
So you moved to Colonie when you were pretty young.
Yeah.
What was growing up in Colonie like for you?
Oh, it was good. It was great. We'd go up the street with the whole gang of guys and go up to the ball field. That's when you could stay out all day. Nobody had to check on you to make sure everything is okay. And
Yeah.
we would go up to Saddlewood School and play ball all day, literally all day. And then we'd just come home and, and start up the next day. And,
Yeah.
But it was great. Living in Colonie is really great.
That sounds amazing. Did you ever see The Sandlot, that movie? Do you know that
sure.
movie?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
It just, was your childhood kind of like that when you're
Yeah.
talking about playing out till the sun goes
Yeah,
out?
pretty much. I mean, and like I had told you before, there was one of the fellows had a car hauler type vehicle.
Okay.
And he would come home every night, and we would sit on that at night and talk and just fool around, whatever. And then when the street lights came on, most of the kids had to go home.
Okay. That was when you knew it was time to go home.
That's
The
when
street lights
the
came
street
on.
lights come on, yeah.
Yeah. So are you close with any of your friends you grew up with in Colonie?
Oh, yeah. In fact, it's funny you ask. I just went to lunch with 2 of them 2 days ago. And I had, I grew up with them.
Yeah.
Right along. They were probably 10 houses away from me.
Yeah.
And we just went to lunch and had a great time. Hadn't seen them in quite a while, actually.
Yeah.
So it was very good.
I feel like friendships like that are increasingly rare, that you have like that long in terms of relationships. What's that like for you to have friends like that you've known since you were a kid?
Oh, it's great. I mean, my best friend growing up was Jeff, and I had lunch with him about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And so we stay in touch. So it's, I don't say we're in touch with everybody, but there are a few that we still see from time to time.
Yeah. I think of like how hard it is for like my guy friends and I to get together, and so it's pretty cool to me that you like still make a point of doing that with your guy friends. What do you guys talk about?
Oh, just what are we doing today? And,
Okay.
What doctor's office are we going to next? Or, because I'm getting up there. There's more sand in the bottom glass than there is in the top glass.
Yeah.
For me, anyway. So, but we just talk about, like what we did when we were kids.
Yeah.
Hey, remember when we did this? Remember when we got caught doing this? Remember we got in trouble for that? So that kind of stuff. It's all good.
Yeah. Do those guys kind of prioritize like exercise the way you do, or is it a little different for them?
I wasn't an exercise bug when I was younger by any means.
Yeah.
That happened much later,
Yeah. So you grew up in Colonie. Did you go to high school in Colonie?
Yeah, Colonie. I went to Saddlewood School first, and Leicester School, and then County Central.
Okay. What'd you do after high school?
I worked at a gas station with a guy that we know, and worked there for quite a few years actually.
Okay.
And worked on cars and stuff.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. But that's pretty much what we did after school.
Yeah. What was that job like?
Oh, it was great. We had a lot of fun. We really did. It was a Shell station, and it was owned by John Cazazza, and it was just a great family atmosphere. He had,
Yeah.
I think, 5 or 6 girls, daughters.
Okay.
And it was just fun. It was at the time, it was back in the gas crisis, though.
Okay.
So it's when the odd and even, you might not be even familiar with it, but it's odd and even on your plate number. You know, it had to match the day.
Oh yeah, I remember. I remember reading
it got
about
kind
that.
of crazy with the gas, but
Yeah.
But it was an interesting time.
Definitely. What kind of jobs did you have as a kid beyond like working at the gas station?
Gee, well, we did the paper route thing first.
Okay.
We shoveled snow. So when it snowed out, we'd go up the street and shovel somebody out. They'd give you a couple of bucks, you know.
Yeah.
And then I ended up working over to the golf course, Shaker Ridge Country Club. And that was a lot of fun. We had a good time there. Worked on the greens, worked in the kitchen, worked in the bar, parked cars. We did everything over there.
It just seems like you were always hustling, like working hard.
Well,
when did that get instilled in you?
That was early on because I would say, with my mom being a single parent, I mean, there was not a lot of funds available to do things. And so if you wanted to do something, you had to figure out how to do it.
Right.
And you had to do whatever the means were that you had to do. Like I say, paper route, mowing lawns. We did it all.
Yeah.
Just to make a few bucks, and then, then finally you try to get a car and that kind of stuff, and you got to keep that up. And so it was tough. My mom did a great job. I mean, that was not easy.
Yeah.
To raise 4 kids, and everybody turned out pretty good actually.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And you talked about working at the gas station. So eventually, did you like go right into the workforce, or did you go to college? What did you do eventually after high school?
I was at the gas station. From the gas station, I went to Hudson Valley.
Okay.
And I got entered into the air conditioning refrigeration course. And then when I graduated there, I went to work for a company called Walters Air Conditioning. And I'm still there to this day.
Wow.
And my partner and I ended up taking it over, and now I think it's 42 years. I think something like that. 40 years I've been there, and now my son is taking it over.
Okay.
And his partner.
When you were when you were a younger guy and like thinking about that as a career, what interested you in it?
That's a good question. The reason I went into HVAC was because it covered so many bases. It covered heating, it covered cooling, it covered sheet metal, it covered electrical, it covered plumbing, there were so many different avenues that if you didn't like the AC side of it, you could do something else.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of avenues. If you wanted to be, a mason, you're going to be a mason. Where if I wanted to be a plumber, or if I wanted to be an air conditioning guy, if I wanted to be a sheet metal guy, there was other avenues available. And that's why I chose that.
I think it's really cool you talk about it that way, because it just seems like we're in this moment of time where we need to actually encourage more young people to pursue the trades. And there's so many great opportunities in the fields of like whether it's building trades, electrical work, HVAC. So like it seems like you have a great experience with it. But when you go back to even thinking about it as a younger guy, like as you started working in the trade, what got you, I guess, what kept you motivated to keep doing it for as long as you did?
I enjoyed it. That was the main thing, is I did enjoy it. And then eventually worked our way into the business, and then finally, we're actually running the business. And then, and that was for years and years and years. And had some great employees, great guys, super. That's the key, is the employees.
Yeah.
So that was great, and then we just continued on, and I work 3 days a week now.
That's amazing. And I know family's really important to you. And so I remember when we've talked previously, I love the story, and I know it's emotional for you thinking about your wife, but I know you have an incredible love story that goes back a long time with her. When did you actually meet her?
Well, I met her. I don't know the date, but I mean, I met her in 4th grade.
In 4th grade.
Right. We
Okay.
lived 5 houses apart.
Was it love at first sight for you?
No, not necessarily. We were just friends. You
Okay.
know, we were just friends, and then it just kind of came about. It really just kind of evolved.
Yeah.
And right after our senior years, when we really kind of started seeing each other a lot and getting to know each other, you know, better, and it worked out great. She was a sweetheart.
Yeah. And you said it kind of evolved, but is there any particular moment in time that you look back at and think to yourself, okay, I think I like her more than a friend?
Yeah, I think there was a moment there that, you know, I noticed it was going in a different direction, and my feelings were,
Yeah.
you know, getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
And fortunately, when I proposed, she said yes. So that was good. I was nervous. I was a wreck. Oh my God.
When did you propose to her?
Oh, as a matter of fact, I proposed at my sister's house actually,
Okay.
and I don't remember the date or anything.
Yeah. But what was the build-up like? Because it sounds like it was quite the story if you did it at your sister's house.
Well, it was. I think my sister knew it was coming.
Okay.
You know. So and then we just, you know, basically found the right time to get down on one knee and ask her to marry me.
How long had you been dating at that time?
At that point, probably 3 years.
3 years?
About 3 years, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember roughly how old you were when you proposed to her?
I think I was probably 21,
21?
22, probably 22, 23.
Wow.
Something
And you
like
knew
that.
at that age that she was the
Oh,
one?
she was the one. Yeah. If you ever knew her, she was a sweetheart. Everybody loved her.
What was she like?
Oh, my therapist asked me to describe her, and I just said if Mother Teresa had a sister, it would have been Colleen.
Okay.
I mean, she loved everybody, and everybody loved her. I mean, when I say that, I mean everybody loved her.
Yeah.
So it was, and then obviously she came down with ovarian cancer, and about a year later she passed away. It's been about a little over a year now, this December.
Yeah. Well, I'm still so sorry for your loss, and I know how much you just adored her, and the way you talk about her is just so amazing and wonderful. I wish I could have met her. She seems like an incredible person.
Yeah, she was super. I mean, I can't tell you enough how super she was. She loved everybody.
Yeah.
And you know, the guy that was Home Depot looking for a few bucks, and she always give him a couple of bucks. And that's the type of person she was.
Yeah.
You know, my one sister-in-law said, I don't think she ever had an enemy.
Yeah.
I don't think she ever had an enemy. She was a sweetheart.
Yeah, and I remember, I think if I remember correctly, you had told me she also grew up in Colonie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, she was 5 or 6 houses away from me.
Yeah. Do you remember how you two met? Just at school?
Just probably in the street.
Yeah.
You know, hanging out with everybody, and everybody just kind of hung out right in the middle of the street itself. Some people would come up, come down, and but we just all hung out together.
Yeah. What was the wedding like? Do you remember that day?
It was great. The day was crystal clear.
Yeah.
Blue skies, and she looked beautiful.
Yeah. And then you two obviously had children, and amazing family seems like. And I know I've seen pictures, I think, of your daughter come into the gym with you even.
Yes.
So as you two built a family, what was that like, being a dad and going through being like a young parent together with her?
Oh, like I said, with her support, I mean, she's the best mom. Don't get me wrong, the best wife, the best friend. And like I said, I wish you know, if you knew her like how people knew her. Yeah. And she's just super. There's nothing you can. She made the family to family. You know, and she was a big piece missing at this point. Yeah. You know, she was such a central figure, and she always got everybody together. She was cooking. She would do Christmas Eve dinner for like 35 people, and she'd cook everything. She was a super cook. Yeah. You know, and, you know, my kids have been great. They've been wicked supportive. Yeah. You know, I have my son Eric and my daughter Danielle. Yeah.
Did you have a favorite meal that she'd cook?
She's got the best meatloaf.
The best meatloaf?
The best meatloaf. Her meatloaf was just great. But she was a great cook. She could cook just about anything. Yeah. She was that good, but the meatloaf was exceptional.
Did you do much of the cooking, or was it mostly
No,
her?
no. I didn't cook at all. I still don't cook. My
Yeah.
daughter has been an amazing help to me at this
Yeah.
point. Because she would just cook everything.
Yeah.
I have no cooking skills whatsoever.
Yeah.
And but it was all good though.
Yeah. So how long were you married?
46 years.
46 years. Wow.
That's a long time. We, like I said, 40. I probably, when you think of it that way, you know, it's over 50 years probably. You know.
Yeah.
You know, obviously.
But it's just a testament to the love that you two had. I mean, when we
yeah.
talked about it, it reminded me a lot of my own parents' marriage. My parents were married for 40 years before my dad passed away. And I know we bonded in part because, you know, you mean a lot to me. You're the exact age that my dad was when he passed away suddenly last year, 71 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry.
just the way you, thank you. And I wanted to ask you, you had mentioned kind of stuff that you've talked about with your therapist about your kind of grief process. And I appreciate you sharing that, first of all. I know for myself, I'm going through a similar process of thinking about how to grieve about my own dad. What has that process been like for you, kind of working through your own grief?
It's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And I did go to therapy, and it was very helpful. But it's just tough. I mean, it's just a process that nobody can help you with. But you have a lot of support. My kids, my friends, my neighbors, my friends have been super. And of course, the kids at the gym have been phenomenal.
Yeah. And we're going to talk a lot about metabolic, but I think a lot of people may not necessarily know that you're really into cars.
Yes.
We've talked about that. Even
Right.
the logistics of planning this conversation was based on car shows.
Yeah, we could go on forever for cars.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about it. What got you into cars?
My oldest brother was a car nut.
Okay.
And we would help him work on
Yeah.
the car, my brother and I.
Yeah.
And that just kind of blossomed into, you know, we took the lawnmower apart one day just to see what it was inside it.
Yeah.
And see if we could put it back together again.
Right,
you
right.
know? We'd find there was like a junk car and an old farm that we used to go to, and we would just pile a whole bunch of tools and we'd go down there and just take the engine apart just to see what was in there.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just curiosity. And then as we go along, as you know, high school and stuff, we had cars and
Yeah.
then started racing them a little bit here and there on the streets and stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm still into cars. I mean, right now, I have a couple of cars at home, and I'm working on one right now, as a matter of fact. So
What car are you working on at home?
I have a 1965 Pontiac GTO.
Ooh. What color?
It's called Mayfair Maze. It's a pale yellow,
Okay.
real pale yellow, like a light yellow.
Yeah.
And that's been great. I've had a lot of fun with that.
I bet.
And I have a 55 Chevy pickup truck, and that's a nice buggy. And I have a 66 Chevy Nova, and I have a 31 Chevy sedan deluxe. Looks like a Bonnie and Clyde kind of car.
Okay.
And I've had that for 34 years.
Wow. Do you have a dream car that you would ever want to own or just work on?
No. I think right now I'm doing pretty good.
It sounds like
I
it.
think I'm doing okay with what I have and what I like. And I think if I had Aston Martin wouldn't be bad.
Okay, I was gonna say, I feel like you and an Aston Martin would be a lot of fun. James Bond.
Yeah.
James Bond meets John DeMichele with an Aston Martin.
Aston Martin would probably be on the list.
Yeah.
I just have a little. I like those cars.
I feel like we can find a way to make this happen. Somebody in the capital region has got to have an Aston Martin that they got to let you at least drive.
Well, maybe I can go for a ride in it or something.
Yeah, a
you know?
ride. You and Johnny in an Aston Martin.
Oh my God, that'd be too much.
That'd be great.
But yeah, I still like cars. I still like working on them, and it's a little different without Colleen there. But you just gotta keep moving forward. I'm not moving on. I'm moving forward.
Did she share in that interest with you at all? Or was that your? Oh, she did.
Yeah, she went everywhere with us. She was the cruise director. She would just line up all the hotels. We'd go out of town.
Okay.
She would get all the arrangements done. She got all the directions done.
Okay.
But no, she liked them just as much. And she used to drive. She took my 55 Chevy pickup, and she drove that a lot by her. Just going to the store.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she loved that. I think that was her favorite.
Okay. So as you've kind of gone through, obviously missing Colleen and thinking about her, I know that the metabolic community, we touched on that earlier, has meant a lot to you. But I want to go back to when you actually started kind of thinking about your fitness journey as a whole, because I've seen different pictures of you where you were heavier versus where you are now. So as a kid, you played till the streetlights came on all the time.
Right.
When, I guess maybe for people who feel like they're at a pivotal point in their fitness journey, so those photos of you when you were heavier, like when was that period for you?
Well, that would have been, honestly, I don't know how old I was at the time.
Yeah.
But it was a time where I was quite heavy.
Yeah.
And at that point, my son was getting married.
Okay.
And Colleen said, "Hey, let's go to the gym. Maybe we can just get in something,
Yeah.
And we went over to the Cicati Center, and I literally did one push-up. That was it.
Yeah.
That's how out of shape I was.
Yeah.
And then we said, okay, so we'll see if we can lose a little bit of weight. So I did lose some weight for the wedding.
Right.
Then I think I'm not sure how many. I maybe took off 30 pounds.
Yeah.
And then I just continued to keep going.
Yeah.
And then I ended up taking 70 pounds off.
Yeah. I get asked a lot what was sort of the motivation that I had to start my own health and fitness journey. And it's interesting you talk about getting ready for a wedding, because that was actually similar to me. That was one event that like was a motivating factor. But when you look back at that period when you were heavier, what was your relationship like with your own fitness?
I didn't really pay too much attention to it. It was okay. I was okay with where I was.
Okay.
Even though, and then I remember going up the stairs to the bedroom upstairs, and I ended up sitting on a bench at the end of the bed.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, whoo, and that's when I realized I was in trouble.
Right.
That's the day I realized. I said, oh, I'm in trouble here.
Yeah.
So and then that's the point. Then she said, "Hey, let's go over and we'll try to do something." And I went kicking and screaming. I was not in favor of this at all.
Yeah.
And but with her persistence and she went too. She would go too, and so we just started on it, and I just kept going.
Yeah. So she was a huge part of it. She was really the catalyst to kind of push you to really get it together a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. She's the one that said, "Let's go," and I said, "Well, okay, let's just see what it looks like. We'll try it, and no promises, and but I stuck with it, and I'm glad I did."
Yeah. So when was that you were getting ready for your son's wedding?
Well, let's see here. That would have been. It would have been. I'm not even sure what the date would have been. It would have been probably 14 years ago.
Okay.
About 14 years ago.
Gotcha. And so those early workouts when you couldn't even really do one push-up, when did you start to feel like you were getting some momentum?
I think it took a while. I want to say it took about a year.
Okay.
Before I was actually saying, okay, I'm doing better. I don't have to pick my leg up to get in the car.
Right.
Because I did have to do that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say about a year. And then I just said, okay, that's not so bad.
Yeah. And how did you deal with the ups and downs during that year? I'm sure you were probably frustrated at various points.
Yeah, because you know how it goes too with your weight loss journey. You're killing yourself, and you get on the scale, and you weigh 5 pounds more.
Right.
And it's like, what the heck? I've been killing myself all week. And then all of a sudden things start to happen.
Yeah.
And then obviously with metabolic, that things really kicked in.
Yeah, and I want to get into metabolic in a minute. I remember, at least for me, I don't know how it was for you, so I was going to ask you, the first month that I started my own weight loss journey, I didn't weigh myself at all because I was very mindful of that scale number psychology. But I knew it was working once my clothes were starting to fall off, and the belts weren't doing the trick either.
Yeah, had to put a new hole in the belt.
Yeah. So you said kind of a year or so, and then once you got to that point and started getting some confidence, you talked about the other gym that you started at. When did you actually start at Metabolic?
Well, that was 7 years ago.
That was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
7 years ago. My daughter got me to go there.
Okay.
Because Metabolic closed. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Sakati Center closed down because of COVID.
Right.
So we were doing. I was doing some stuff at home, a
Yeah.
little bit, and then Danielle said, "Well, let's try Metabolic," and then she got me over there, and I've been there ever since.
Yeah. I think that's so cool that, first of all, your wife was the one who really pushed you to start your fitness journey. And then your daughter is the one who then
true.
continues it on and then pushes you into metabolic. Did you ever think about that? Like how
No,
these
I
two
didn't.
women have been so impactful for you?
Oh my God! Thank God for both of them. I'll tell you, I'd be in trouble without them. But that's very true. That's
Yeah.
a good point.
Yeah.
No, it's but no, she's been great. The kids have been great, and with their support and everything, it's really you need the support to deal with the grief.
Oh yeah.
You
I mean, we'll talk so much about that, but I'm curious. So you started metabolic, and this is 7 years ago, you said. What were those first few classes like for you to get comfortable?
I was real nervous about it.
Yeah.
I was very nervous about it.
Yeah.
I remember that. And the trainers were great. They were very supportive. You know, and they knew it was my first day or whatever, second time. And
Right.
I think it was Angie and James. They were great. And that got me through it, you know. And I think I was only going a couple of days a week, you know, because I was probably pretty sore.
Yeah.
You know, after those first couple of ones, you know.
Yeah.
So, but after that, then it kind of started, and then I started going like 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And now I go every day.
We've talked about the lanes. That's a big deal at metabolic. What lane you're, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc.
Right.
Did they have the lane system when you started?
I think they had more of a box. You had to stay in it because COVID was still on.
Right. That
so
makes
you
sense.
had a box, and pretty much everything you stayed right in that box.
Okay.
You know, plus you had to wear a mask and stuff.
Right.
It was tough.
Right. Was there a moment that you started to feel more kind of like confident at metabolic with the workout?
Yeah, I think once you start going, 3-4 days a week, you kind of know what you're in for. You know, some days are tougher than others.
Yeah.
You know, as you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, those workouts are not easy.
Some of them are tough. You know? But yeah, and, but then you start to see a little definition somewhere maybe, and all of a sudden your clothes are fitting a little bit better, and I know that's the incentive to keep going.
Yeah. Now for you, I mean, you're 71 years young. Does it ever throw you off feeling like you're one of the older guys in the room, or has that dynamic like not really matter for you?
No, it's funny you say that too, because Christina had sent me a quote, and it was, "I'd rather be the oldest guy at the gym than the youngest guy in the nursing home."
I love that.
So I use that all the time.
Yeah.
I keep that very close. And I said, I'd rather be, and I am the oldest guy at Colonie.
Yeah.
And I have as you know, they've been super for me.
Yeah. Well, the community there is next level. And for anybody who has been to a metabolic, you and I both know there's nothing like Colonie.
There is nothing like it. The atmosphere there, the trainers there, you got Johnny, you got Peyton, you got, Aviv. And it's just, it's a whole community, and as you know, we're very tight. Everybody gets along very well. Everybody takes care of everybody. We socialize.
Yeah.
And it is a community.
Yeah.
It really is.
And I know the community has meant a lot to you, especially since your wife's passing. I love the relationship you have with so many people there. And people love you, and there's so many examples that we can talk through about that being the case. But what has this community meant to you as in this sort of period of life for you, navigating, life for you now, post your wife passing?
Well, I know I would be in very serious trouble, if you will, however you want to put that, but without them.
Yeah.
Because they have been amazing. And I mean that so right from the bottom of my heart. I don't think I could have done it without them.
Yeah.
And I call them my metabolic angels.
Yeah.
And they really are.
I just think it's so cool that this relationship you have with so many people there, and particularly these, these women at Metabolic who just love you. I mean, I always ask you, how many girlfriends do you have at Metabolic, because they just adore you, and you go out with them. Like, can you talk about like what is that like to actually go out and just go to bars and clubs and just hang out with these people?
Well, I'm very fortunate that they include me in their festivities and going out. I mean, there's a core group. There's Christina and Kayla, and you got Nadine and Sammy and Lucy and Peggy. I mean, there's a whole group, you know, and I'm just so lucky that they include me and ask me to go. I do provide Uber service, so I don't drink, but I'm more than happy to take those guys out, and we go out and have a good time.
Yeah, we didn't know each other before, but it was interesting. I had met Johnny and Michaela at that first fashion show that we all modeled in together, and I know you were there with a bunch of the Metabolic Colonie people. I hadn't become a member at the Metabolic yet. And then we went out together fairly recently to see Johnny in the follow-up show. So again, you're going out, you're staying out till like 1, 2 a.m. With like, is that surreal for you? Like when you think about that?
I like I said, I'm so blessed that they include me.
Yeah.
I offer, and if they, if it works for them, it works for me. The one thing is it gets me out of the house.
Yeah.
So that's the main factor why I go. And I tell my kids, I said, hey, if you see something on Instagram or something, I'm just going out to get out of the house and have a good time with these kids.
Yeah.
And like I said, without them, the support that they've given me has been unbelievable.
Yeah. And we just had the Metabolic Colonie social at the Encore Lounge, and you were roped into singing. How did that happen?
Christina suggested or demanded, I should say, that I sing a song at karaoke.
Okay.
And I think it was between Christina and Kayla, the two of them were pushing me along to get a song, so I did. And it was okay. It was okay. I needed a little bit of support, but we got through it. We got through the song, and everybody had a good time.
Okay. The fact that you just called it okay is an understatement. First of all the women were chanting your name by the end of the song. I mean, like, I was singing, and like people, like a lot of people didn't know that I love to sing, but you got the biggest reaction by far the night. People loved it.
I think they were kind of surprised, probably a little bit, to see me up there. I was surprised to be up there. Trust me, I would never have done this without some encouragement.
Oh yeah, I have this clip, and we were talking about it before we started recording, of Christina just reassuring you. It's just like, John, you know this, you know the song, and she's just like really just trying to make sure like she believes in you. And it was just so awesome.
I thought she was going to stay up there with me to give me more support, and then but then I turned and she was gone. So it was a little bit of trouble there, but we got through it. And everybody we had a great time over there. It was just a super time.
Yeah, no, you owned it. And then the other songs where Johnny's roping you in to come up there with like certain rap songs. Johnny, what's that like for you?
The relationship with Johnny has been just amazing.
Yeah,
it really has been. I mean, I got to spend a little time talking.
Oh, we got to talk about that,
because he is he's out there. He gets me to say things that I would never have ever said in my life. And we have a lot of fun. He takes a lot of these little clips of me.
Yeah.
And he coaches me what to say. And sometimes it may not be maybe inappropriate, but we try to screen those out a little bit.
Johnny has a bit of diplomatic immunity, I feel like, within the metabolic world.
Yeah, because there's no. Yeah, I've talked about maybe mentioning something to HR. It doesn't seem to bother him. HR, I think he's HR.
He might be. I say diplomatic immunity because I feel like he can get away with certain things nobody else can.
He gets away with a lot. Yeah, but he's a lot of fun, and he's a great trainer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he pushes you. He knows when to push you. And but he takes really good care of me, actually.
When did that start? The whole like kind of gimmick of him coming up to you with the phone and coaching you through lyrics.
That started at the location we're at now, the new location.
Okay.
And for Colonie, and It just started. I'm not sure if I think one day he had chains on, and I took the chains off and I put it on me, and like this big gold chain, a big one. And then he said, well, let me get something here, say this or something. And it just kind of happened. And now I don't even know how many there are. There's got to be 50 of them.
Yeah. Well, I feel like with Johnny, you know that you have a good relationship with him when he feels comfortable roasting you. And sometimes I think I think sometimes women don't get that about guys, especially. Like if guys are roasting each other, it typically means there's a comfort level in the friendship there.
Right.
And so like that's how you know if I feel like you're kind of over with him. So like even to the point that you guys like flip each other off at sometimes during class.
No, we give hand signals a lot.
Yeah, hand signals.
We give the hand signals every so often. We do that.
Yeah.
And but it's all good fun. It really is. It's all he's been a very big supporter of me and getting me in shape that I'm in today.
Oh yeah. And it was interesting. You talked about being the designated driver. And again, like people think Johnny is like this, like kind of, you know, this larger than life character, and he is. But I know how serious and how intentional he is about the love that he has for all the members.
Oh yeah.
And we had an interesting conversation. So I went to the Glenville social a few weeks ago, and he noticed I wasn't drinking. And he goes to me and he's like, "Oh, do you not drink?" And I was like, "No, I don't drink." And I explained to him kind of why. And he just had this like interesting curiosity and again, kind of this empathy. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the things about the metabolic coaches. And I know from talking with Matt that he really prioritizes this within the coaching culture of empathy. And the first question he had was like, is that hard for you being in a situation like this? Mm. So I wonder for you, is that ever hard for you when you're out with the girls and you're just kind of like not drinking and just sort of hanging? I mean, I know you're grateful for the friendships and to hang out and just to, you know, to not be alone in the house sometimes, but is that ever hard for you?
No. I kind of grew up a little bit with some parents. We'd be over at somebody's house and some of the parents might be having some arguments and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's usually around drinking.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's where it came to me that hey, I can't do that to, if I have children someday, I can't do that to them.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's where it started. I mean, we've always, even when we were kids, we went out to all the bars, played all the foosball. Right. I was a designated driver before there was a designated driver. Yeah. You know, so and we'd go out and party and they'd be getting sick and I'd be laughing and, you know, but we actually went out quite a bit actually.
So how long has it, so you've just been alcohol free for pretty much most of your life?
Yeah, I've never drank.
How old, did you ever drink at all at any period?
No.
No?
No.
Wow.
Never.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody wants to be there when I start though.
Oh, I bet.
The kids, they say, whenever you start drinking, I got some friends, car friends and friends at the family, and they say, when you start, you better call me. You know, so I've had a couple of close calls.
Yeah.
But no, I just haven't. I said at this point in my life, what the heck, you know? I don't smoke. I don't drink.
I gave up alcohol too a few years ago, mostly just thinking through the fact that it just seemed like one less thing to think about. And in terms of my own overall like fitness, aesthetic goals, but I didn't realize that you had never been a drinker at all.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw some pretty crazy stuff when growing up, I'll say.
Yeah.
With alcohol related incidents, you know, and I just can't. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. But is it ever hard for you when you're in a situation where somebody might be out of control and then sometimes it's like hard to know how to deal with them or
No,
okay.
It's never been hard. I've never had an issue. Way back, maybe I had this one girl that was a little annoyed that I wasn't drinking at a party that we were at.
Yeah.
And she was just annoyed. And I not that I make it, I always just have a glass of ginger ale so they don't know what I'm drinking.
Yeah.
You know, but she was really annoyed. Wow.
Yeah.
But other than that, nobody's ever given me a problem, ever said, hey, how come? Or, you know, you're too good for us or something. And nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever said a word to me.
Yeah. I know I think about that a lot because, like, there's more and more kind of studies out there kind of suggesting some of the negative effects of alcohol. And it's just one of those things, like, I deal with all the time because it's like I obviously want to be able to go out and hang out with people and do what you're doing, basically.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of fascinating. You've set this example that I want to follow. Like, in
I
fact,
don't know about that.
I mean, you beat me. I mean, I was out with you with those same girls, like at Frog Alley, and like I'm tired at like 10, 11 o'clock, and I'm leaving. You're going out till 2 a.m. So you got me beat there.
We have had a few late nights.
Yeah.
But it's all fun.
Yeah.
And nobody ever gets crazy, out of control. Everybody's very under control.
Yeah. So just overall, like a fitness community like this that you've just become so immersed in, what has it really meant? I guess it's a loaded question, but what has it really meant for you in terms of your overall life?
Oh boy. Well, like I said, I'm there every day at the gym.
Right.
And we usually go similar times, so we have a group of people that we see often.
Yeah.
And again, the support has just been phenomenal. I mean, and Nadine put this video together of everybody in the gym just giving me well wishes, if you will, thinking of you, that kind. But it was very nicely done. She did a great job. I always remember that. But the community it's hard to explain. It just is a clique of people that just kind of came together.
Yeah.
And we go to people's houses and have little get-togethers, and
right.
And of course the socials are out there and the fashion shows, and but it's just this nice community of people, and they're all ages. I mean, even especially the young folks. I'm kind of surprised that the young people, include me, if you will, or don't have as much of an issue with me, like with my age.
I'm going to tell you why I'm not surprised, because when I talk with them, John, and I'm not sure how much they've kind of expressed this directly to you, I know how much you inspire them by just you being you. Not everybody has great relationships with their parents or their family, and I think people seeing you in part doing what you're doing at your age is so inspirational. I mean, Johnny and I actually talked about that in that same conversation that he came up to me and was so empathetic and trying to understand where I was coming from with alcohol. Everybody looks at you, and I don't mean that to overwhelm you, but I hope you know that you really are inspiring. And we talk about this concept of being built different. Like, you are built different than the average 71-year-old person.
Yeah, I suppose you're right, but that's nice to hear.
Really?
It really is. And I know I have some great support there. I really do. And I know my family and friends everybody have been super also, but being that I go there every day, this it's kind of a safe zone.
Yeah, and I think it's amazing you go there every day. With most people struggling to even go to the gym at all, your workout routine there is so meticulous. Can you walk me through kind of what your weekly routine there is? Typically, what days, what times you're typically working out?
Oh, sure. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I go at night.
Yeah.
The 5 o'clock class.
Yeah.
I call it. And then Mondays and Fridays, I do 7:10 and 5:40 at night. So I go twice on Mondays and Fridays. And I do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at night, and then Saturday morning.
So you're 6 days a week, and then 2 of those days you're doing 2-a-days.
Correct.
That's incredible. And I think that actually lends a theory that I have, because I realized that you're, in addition to just being a natural anchor of the Metabolic Colonie community, you're a connector, because you're a guy that's going regularly to both the morning and the night classes. Right. So you really know everybody.
I know a lot of people. I have come. I've been very fortunate that I have come across a lot of just super nice people.
Yeah.
Mike Woods and Frank, and I mean it just goes on. I can list them all. You know, Rich, and everybody's so supportive, and I'm very fortunate that I was there when we lost Colleen. I mean, because that support was everything. Yeah.
In the midst of that, I think it's hard for people that have never really dealt with loss. I mean, I don't know what it's like to lose a spouse, but as somebody who's lost a parent, some days you just walk around feeling like you're in an out-of-body experience. At least that's how I feel. So when you have that opportunity to go to the gym, Can you describe at all what the feeling is? Like if you're walking in?
It's kind of a safe place for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's comfortable.
Right.
You know, it's just, I know I can go in there and, you know, talk to a whole bunch of different people. And,
Yeah.
you know, I've met so many people. I mean, some of them I don't remember their names, but,
Right.
But we always have a little, hey, how you doing today? How's it going? Hey,
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, come to talk to some people, you know, I mean, you know, you get this, you know, what they do for a living. And,
Yeah.
you know, I was talking to Emily last week, and she goes to New Jersey a lot. And I
Yep.
said, oh, you're traveling today? And this little chit chat, nothing fancy, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just a safe place for me, you know, and because of the kids.
Yeah.
I call them kids. They'll probably get mad at me. Sorry.
They love you. I think it's a safe place for a lot of us, and I know I feel the same way. And I think, first of all, I appreciate you using those words, because I think as guys sometimes, like, we get so stupid about not being able to just talk openly about mental health issues.
Yeah.
And so the way you talk about it is very inspiring to me and so healthy. So as you think about kind of your future in terms of fitness, like as you know, you're 71 years young, you got a lot of life left ahead of you, John.
Yeah, I keep telling them there's more sand in the bottom glass than there is in the top glass.
Maybe.
So,
maybe. But I, you know, the life that you're living now is amazing. So when you think about just the fitness goals you have, what are you hoping that you can continue to get out of your own fitness journey?
right now, I'm going to continue doing what I've been doing.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because there's no going back. Because the pain and suffering that you go through to get where you're at is very clear in your mind about not doing that again. Yeah. And I'm within 5 pounds after let's say 12 years.
Right.
I mean, I stay within a 5 pound range, and that's it. I mean, because I just can't do that again. Right. There's just no way.
What do you eat? Like, what's your diet like?
Oh, it's not right at the moment. It's not it's okay. It's okay, but because I don't cook, so I do some Factor meals.
Oh, okay. I used to do Factor.
I like the Factor, and I do Hello Fresh.
Okay.
And my daughter comes over and cooks all that stuff because you have to cook those ingredients. Yeah. But that's pretty much. I mean, I don't. I don't deviate too much. She had me make a crock pot of chili one time. Okay. So that went pretty good. I was able to master that one. So that was good. But other than that, I made salads, a lot of salads. Yeah. I like chicken with salads.
I feel like we should get like a Metabolic Colony social, go out to like a cooking class or something, just so we can like all cook some fun stuff together.
Jeez, I got to tell you, fortunately, between my sister and my brother-in-law and my other brother-in-law and sister-in-law, and everybody's kept me well fed. Yeah, they bring stuff over to me all the time, and that's a blessing. And I'll freeze some of it, and kind of make sure I do a little meal planning and stuff.
Yeah. And you've talked a lot about your kids, and I know I wasn't there. I think physically, I can't remember if I was, but I know that there was some day recently that your daughter came to Metabolic.
Oh yeah,
to hang out with you and see you work out with a grandchild, or
the two of them. Yeah,
the two of them. Yeah,
I have 5 grandkids.
5 grandkids.
5 grandkids.
What was that like for you to have her and some of your grandkids actually see you in that environment?
That was great. It was I don't think they know what Pa does. Right. I mean, they know he goes to the gym, and Danielle goes to the gym too. Right. I mean, she goes as well. But she did come that night to work out next to me there. It was fun. And it's good, and she's the one that got me into it. I'm still into it, and I'm going to keep going.
What lane were you? Do you remember the lane you were in versus the lane she was in?
I think that night I was in 3 and she was in 4. Okay. I think.
Okay. Does it get competitive?
No.
No?
Not with her, no. Sometimes some of the other ones we will kind of kid each other and
Okay.
say, "Hey, you're picking up something kind of light over there, aren't you?" You know, and I'll suggest a heavier something or other, and
Yeah.
or I'll suggest doing some push-ups, and somebody else might suggest doing burpees, and so I end up doing burpees.
Yeah.
You know, so we kind of encourage each other on occasion.
Yeah. Do you ever talk about like with your grandkids, kind of like what you're doing at the gym, or like have any real conversations about fitness as a family?
Not really, not
Okay.
yet,
Yeah.
not at this point. No,
Yeah.
they're so busy. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know how they do it. They're so busy and going in 10 different directions,
Yeah.
and but they're all great kids. I got my kids are just fantastic. The grandkids are fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a great family of everybody's a close knit family.
I love that you're so close with them. And I also really love that the story you have of being at a point in your life, kind of middle age, or roughly 50, probably something, when you were at the heaviest point,
Yeah.
and yet you resolved to not give up on yourself and just continue to fight through it. So for people who maybe are at that point in life where they're feeling like they're middle aged or they have kids, they don't quite know what to do. Like, what would your advice be to people to get them started?
Well, there's a few new people at the gym at the Metabolic,
Yeah.
and I tell them too. I said, just try to be consistent. Come 1 or 2 days a week,
Right.
just to get yourself started. But just make a routine. Don't think about it. Just go, and just if you're in lane 5 or 6, doesn't matter. Just go. And then I tell the kids all the time too. Out there, I said, whatever you do, if you have to slow down because of some family issue, whatever happens in your life, just don't stop. Don't stop. Keep going, but just slow down. Go 2 days a week if you have to, but try as hard as you can not to stop,
Yeah.
because that starting up again is very difficult.
Yeah. I've seen you, I feel like, as in situations where a lot of people in the gym just generally, I feel like, have come to you for different advice or comfort level. Like, to have that type of relationship with people in a fitness community where you're obviously one of the older members of the gym, but we all look at you as 71 years young. To be able to have that type of impact on people and like helping encourage people and inspire them on their fitness journey, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot, actually, because if there's a new person there, and it depends, so you got to find out, because they may not be receptive to everything. So
Right.
if you find somebody who's receptive and you say, hey, I'll give them some pointers to say, hey, this is what we're going to do next. This is what you should be looking for. This is, don't do this, do that. I'll try to help them as much as I can, just so first of all, two things, they don't get hurt and they come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, but we talk about a lot of metabolic because there's this perception, I think, for some people who are outside the metabolic orbit, that people tend to get hurt a lot doing it. And here you are at 71 years young, doing it 6 days a week, and 2 of those days, 2-a-days.
Right.
How have you seen for yourself the kind of strength gains through working out at metabolic?
It's pretty amazing for me.
Yeah.
I mean, my fitness level now is, I think it says something like, your age, if you can do this or that, and I'm supposed to do like 10 push-ups or something, at my age, where I can probably do damn near 40.
That's awesome.
So and I can see it physically too, that I'm doing, I can see it in my arms and stuff. And, my legs are terrible. They're awful. The girls make fun of me all the time.
Yeah.
And Johnny makes fun of my flat ass. He says, you're as flat as this clipboard. I said, no, I'm not. He's always checking out my glutes. That's one thing Johnny does.
That's true. He's always checking you out.
He's always checking my glutes.
Yeah.
But no, it's been great. I mean, I try to help out as much as I can. If some people are a little more reserved and they don't really want to, socialize. Some people just want to get in, get out. Right. And that's fine. Because they either got a job to go to, or they don't, they're just not social butterflies, which I am. I like talking to people, meeting people, and and you can kind of tell when somebody wants to talk to you and they
Right.
don't.
Yeah.
When you don't, you just leave them be.
Yeah. To have that mindset though, that that you're stronger than the average person your age, and that you yourself, just regardless of comparing yourself to other people, just that that you've gotten stronger. How does that have an impact just for yourself in daily life?
I think so. I think it does in a way that I've accomplished, accomplished quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I've stayed with it, and I'm under control with it, and I feel good about it.
Yeah.
I've got some definition here and there,
Right.
and I try to, show Johnny what a bicep's supposed to look like,
Yeah. You gotta let them know.
as opposed to his bicep, which needs a little work. So
Yeah.
yeah, but no, I do. If I can help out, I would more than happy to do so.
Yeah. I've seen him, I think, try to curl you in a bicep curl. It was a little sloppy.
He did pick me. He has picked me up on a few occasions.
Yeah.
He has done that, and I thought the one time we were going down for sure, but
Yeah.
but he was able to do it. But no, it's all fun.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too. If you can make it, I'm not saying you got to make it a comedy store, but if you can have a little fun along the workout term there, I mean, it makes it easier.
Oh,
It makes
it makes a huge difference, and it's just so fun that we can kid each other. Like even today, like he caught me dancing at one point during the workout, and he's like, "Okay, all right," like you feeling it. It's just one of those things. It just makes the experience that much more fun.
Oh
to
yeah,
your point.
and we start dancing, and we start doing
Yeah.
the whole hand thing, and we start dancing around, and he gets a big kick out of it, and that's what I'm saying. If they can just put a little bit of humor in it, I think it goes a long way.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of yapping during the workouts where, especially you're an easy target for him. He'll just yap at you the whole time, just
He does.
talk on the mic and just distract you.
Yes, he does have a tendency to come over to see me quite often,
Yeah,
and usually he's trying to tell me to pick up something heavier,
yeah,
and he doesn't. He never goes lighter. He always goes heavier.
yeah. But that's his way of love. I mean, that's what. Yeah, some people sometimes they don't quite pick that up at first, but
No, he's been super, and I keep teasing him because I said I'm going to go to his barber. I want to go to his barber.
Oh.
Because he's got some wild hairdos there.
that'd be wild.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I think a lot of people
I
would
said I
pay
just want
to
to walk
see
in there.
you do
I want
that.
to walk in there without him and have him outside somewhere and just see the reaction in the barber shop.
Well, they should let you cut his hair.
Oh my God, that would be too funny. But no, we do have some fun on occasion, and the social side of it is fun. And I'm terribly blessed.
Yeah. And you talked about the metabolic angels, and I want to talk a little bit more about that, because I know that this group of women, and I mean, I tease you about the girlfriends piece, but like they love you, they adore you. Just the group of women and just the way that they have showered you with love and affection. What has that meant for you?
It's a little tough one. That gets me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it means, I can't tell you how much it means. It means so much, I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just so nice to me. And I just enjoy them all the time. I go there, I have a good time with them. And I know if I ever needed anything, they're there for you.
Yeah.
The whole bunch. I mean, the guys and the girls, both. I mean, they've been just super. And I keep telling you, I'm just so blessed.
Yeah.
That I have them, and I had them at the right time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's a tough one.
Yeah. No, we all love you, but they love you to a level that's just so cool to see. And even when I was talking with some of them, quietly about, hey, like, John and I are going to do this, we're going to talk, like they just lit up.
Really?
Because I think a lot of them, they know pieces of your story.
Right.
But they just care so much about you. And it's one of those things where like, this is just my theory. I just think that a lot of people really have a hard time sometimes with their own parents, their own extent, and even sometimes, who knows, like even sometimes women I know have had traumatic experiences with men generally. So to have a positive male figure
Oh yeah.
who they just feel really safe and secure around is such a gift of energy to them. And
Right.
I don't know, maybe that's something I don't know if how openly they've talked to you about it. And I'm just guessing that for some of them, it reinforces that there are good men,
Oh right. Yeah.
you know, out there. And I guess that was partly what I wanted to ask you. You know, as guys, I feel like right now there's this sort of crisis within, like, what is real masculinity? What does healthy masculinity look like? I love the model that you've had in your life of being a faithful husband for 40 plus years and a loving father. I'm asking partially selfishly because I'm 36 years old and I'm asking myself these questions, like, what do you feel like it actually really means to be a real man in today's culture?
Well, today's generation, don't forget now, I'm quite a few generations
Yeah.
removed. So it's a whole different game out there today.
But I'm asking because I want to learn from you.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but you got, and by going out with these guys at night and stuff, and from what I see, and from what I went through when I was their age, it's a totally different game.
Yeah.
I mean, with the social media,
Right.
and it's just. I mean, it's hard for me to put that in perspective, to be honest with you, because, you know, it just wasn't there when I was growing up. I mean, that kind of stuff just wasn't around.
Yeah. Well, maybe a better question would be, with how you see guys now, like who are like roughly my age, right, in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, how can guys do better? Like, how can guys step up, or like, what would your advice be for them to just have a more sense of healthy masculinity?
Well, I mean, it all comes at your approach.
Yeah.
That's the main, your approach and your
Right.
personality. I mean, you got to show that you have a personality, first of all.
Right.
And that you care.
Yeah.
And that you're not hiding behind anything.
Right.
You're just upfront. You just, you got to, say it the way it is, and, and be respectful. I see some stuff that, some of the guys get a little out of control sometimes, and, they'll say stuff that they probably shouldn't say. And,
Yeah.
But again, from my generation, it's just so far removed.
Right.
It's very difficult for me to even, because I really wouldn't be in this position to gauge anything like that if it wasn't for them.
Do you ever get questions from some of the girls in Metabolic just about, like, advice for guys from you?
No.
No?
No. I think my age probably puts me out of that conversation. But
Yeah.
I haven't had anything like that. No.
Okay. I figured some of them might, vet potential, boyfriends or something by you or something like that.
No.
You got to get through John first if you want to date me, type of thing.
Yeah. No. We have. I try to stay out of their personal side of things.
That's probably smart.
I just, when I go out with them, I just hang back a little bit, and enjoy stuff, and they're having a good time, and they don't have to worry about driving home, and I'd be more than happy to take them anywhere they want to go.
Yeah. Are there any kind of big surprises that you've ever I mean, we've talked a lot about the surreal nature of kind of your relationship with a lot of people in Metabolic, your Metabolic angels. But when you look back at all of it and your journey, are there any big moments that just really have caught you by surprise?
Well, there was one thing when Nadine did that video.
Yeah.
That was pretty that really shocked me.
Yeah.
I was very emotional on that one.
And that was the video where a lot of people kind of just told you their love, like right when Colleen passed away.
Yeah, can't wait till you come back, keep going. We're thinking of you, that kind of stuff. That was a big one for me. That really meant a lot. And then I don't even know how she put it together, because there was a lot of people, and everybody was in a line, and they were just kind of going by the camera, if you will, and.
Yeah,
and that was very very touching. And then the wake, there was over 600 people at the wake.
Yeah,
and that. Even the people at the funeral home said that was amazing.
Yeah,
You know, so those are some of the things that kind of come to mind.
Yeah, I know, like, we've talked a little bit about our grief journeys, and you talked about just the challenge of getting out of the house certain days, and not to completely compare my, passing of my dad with your wife at all, but I know it's been similar for me with, at times, just, I got to get out of the apartment. I got to get out of the apartment. And I know that's why, for me, working out in community is so important for me.
Right.
And it sounds like that's clearly important for you too.
Oh yeah, I'm looking into taking up pickleball.
Okay.
So that, like, on the weekends, like Saturdays and Sundays, I have, there's some quiet time, I'll say.
Yeah.
I'm not working on the car.
Yeah.
And then I may start that up in a little while.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a pickleball group with some other folks from different fitness communities have been a part of, and pickleball's cool. It's a lot of fun. Have you ever played at all?
Yeah, I have played. I've only played twice.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like we got to be able to string up some people and get some pickleball going.
Right.
Yeah.
I know Peyton's mom plays a lot.
Yeah, I think Peyton does, and there's a group that I know play at, like, True Pickleball and
that's what
some other folks. Yeah.
So I may try that, and just to kind of branch out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then just kind of see what happens.
Yeah. So we talked a lot about Johnny, and you mentioned Peyton. What has Peyton, Aviv, like some of the other coaches, meant for you as part of your fitness journey?
They've been very supportive, and very, and again, as far as the fitness, pushing me a little bit,
Yeah.
Peyton's been fantastic. Aviv, Johnny, they've all been very good. And they, I can't do there's stuff I can't do, and they know that what I can't do, and they know, basically where I'm at. But they'll push me on occasion. They'll say, hey, go up another 5, go up another 10.
Yeah.
And which is all good, and that's what we're there for.
Yeah.
I mean, you're there for good reason. It's all for your own health, fitness. I'm hoping that my knees. I don't have any problems with any of my joints yet. So everything's going pretty good, actually, from a health standpoint.
Yeah.
But no, they've been good. Peyton's been a doll.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite things I saw recently, and this might be a good point to kind of end our conversation in thinking about the future, was Johnny, again, loves to highlight you on Forte Friday.
Oh yeah.
And you were rocking, I think, one of the black T-shirts and black joggers, and then he did like a panorama around you, and that was like so great. So is fashion modeling in your future?
No. That we're going to leave to the professionals, and the only thing Johnny's goal is to be able to use that AED that's on the wall, because he wants to shock me with that. I may not need it. He just wants to use it.
He just wants to use it.
He just wants to use it. He keeps yelling clear. He keeps yelling clear. He said, one of these days you're going to use that. And I keep telling him, one of these days I'm going to knock you out.
I feel like there's more likelihood that you'll have to use it on him at some point than for you.
I do. We do. He worked out with me next to me one day a couple weeks ago, and we had some good fun there.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, the relationship you two have is so special and so fun. And I think certain people might think your name is John Wick because that's what it's labeled on Instagram within his stories.
He always does that, but that's always, and that's the fun part. Sometimes when we get done with our workout, we'll hang around. We'll hang around for an hour. Just shooting the breeze. Everybody's talking about something.
Yeah.
Or what's going on for the next day, or what's going on for the weekend, or what's And if we can get together, we try to.
Yeah. So I guess, John, like, in closing, what's next for you? Like, in terms of thinking through the rest of your life, and just what are you looking to accomplish?
Well, right now I got to figure out what I'm going to be doing as far as companionship going down the road here.
Okay.
So that's my next, I'll say avenue.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. And maybe the pickleball might help.
Right.
And that's kind of where I'm looking at now. But, I've still got my car friends. They've been super, super, super. And you know, I got you know, all the neighbors have been super. But I think just going forward, I'm going to try to concentrate on my health.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to use, you know, her passing as a way to stop doing what I've been doing. You know, just out of just your mind is in the wrong place.
Right.
You know, and you say, hey, I'm not going to go to the gym anymore. I'm just going to sit here on the couch in the dark, and I just can't do that.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have like an army of the metabolic angels. First of all, if you ever seriously start like dating somebody, they're going to want to meet her. They're going to want to like interrogate her. Like, I feel so bad for this woman, whoever she might be, because she's going to have so many people want to know everything about her.
Christina wants me to wear an earpiece, and she's going to, her and Kaylee are going to be in the booth. Down there.
Oh, they would stalk I think you'd have a whole lot of people want to mic you up.
And they're
like,
going to tell me what to say.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be like a dating show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're going to put my profile up and screen them. Oh, my God. They're so funny. Oh, my God. They're a blast. But,
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's going forward. I got to start thinking about that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I know as we're recording this, it's right around Valentine's Day. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for... not to make this a dating profile show, but when you think about what type of qualities you would actually be looking for in a partner, what kind of qualities come to mind for you?
They gotta like cars.
Okay, they gotta like cars.
That's probably the first one.
Okay.
A non-smoker would be preferable.
Okay.
And it's not. I don't want to say I just want to say healthy. I don't want to say that they go to the gym. I'm just saying healthy.
Yeah.
That's all. You know, and personality type of thing. You know, good personality. But the first one's got to be getting like cars to some degree. So, because we do that quite a bit in the summer.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get through the gauntlet of the metabolic angels, vetting them first, and probably multiple seasons of your reality dating show.
Oh my God, it'll be so funny when those two are telling you. They get me laughing so hard, and what they're gonna try to do and everything. So it's all good. It's all good fun.
Oh yeah.
But on the serious side, I gotta kind of see where I'm going.
Right.
You know, I gotta do something. You know, and we'll kind of. I'm not putting my name out there right now, just so anybody gets the idea here. You know?
Yeah.
But no, I'll figure out. I talked to my son today. As a matter of fact, he took me to lunch and we went over a bunch of stuff. And he wants to see me branch out a little bit more. And, and he was just kind of light a fire, if you will.
Yeah.
And to get me out there and not just to do something different.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think the way you approach it is so healthy and positive, whether it's pickleball, and I'm sure there's a lot of metabolic people who'd be happy to suggest all types of fun activities to get you out and hanging out. And
I would imagine
you could create a whole an amazing reality show, the John DeMichele Show.
I think I'm okay where I'm at. I'm good where I'm at. I got a good group of people around me and friends and family, and everybody's just been super. I'm very blessed that I have what I have.
Oh, yeah. And I have to remind myself that, too. And, in my own grief sometimes and getting out of my own head and just remembering all the things. Gratitude is its own muscle to exercise. And it's amazing just to see how grateful you obviously are for your family, for your friends, to joke around with the people that love you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's
even when Johnny's driving you crazy.
Oh, Johnny's Johnny. And like I said, if you're new and you're walking in on there, you might be for a little surprise when he comes around. But it's all fun, and that's the key. The key is to have fun.
Yeah, you gotta have fun.
You gotta have some fun, and you have to have something that you enjoy. And I enjoy people. I enjoy meeting people.
Yeah. And
I enjoy, working out. I enjoy the cars and the friends with the cars that I have. And I think going down the road, I just got to kind of, unfortunately, find a way to keep moving forward. I'm not moving on. I'm just moving forward.
I love that. And this is exactly why I was so determined to have you be the first person that I talked to on this kind of reimagined show in my mind of talking with people who are built different. I mean, you've lived a life that is different. Talking of the fact, again, whether it's being alcohol free for as long as you've lived your life or continuing to prioritize your health and fitness at 71 years young. I don't mean to overwhelm you at all, but I just want you to know personally that you have been such an inspiration to me on my own health journey. I'm so grateful for our friendship, and I know that I can speak really clearly for a lot of people in Metabolic when I can tell you how much we love you and adore you and are so inspired by you every day.
Well, that's very nice of you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. And I appreciate doing this, too. This was very nice. This is, again, doing a podcast for me was never in the cards. I would never expect to be doing a podcast.
Yeah. Well, John, I mean, your story is awesome, and I know that people who hear it and listen to it are going to be inspired by it in their own way. So I appreciate you having the courage, first of all, to share what you've shared and to be as vulnerable as you've been, too. That isn't easy, so thank you.
It's a little tough, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're a work in progress.
We're always a work in progress. That's what it takes to be built different.
Exactly. Built different.
Yep. Thank you, John.
Hey, thanks a lot.